Welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. You know what Christy Mathewson wasn't worried about? SIERA. When you're thinking about Pedro Ciriaco, I mean, the only one that can compete is maybe Hannes Wagner's 1908 season. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Kern.
Like, if we just clip together every time we've talked about him on other people's profiles, we've done a Mickey Cochran episode.
I can't get past Rabbit Marinville. It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio, where we're talking baseball kind of whenever. I am your host, Chris Gianta. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Kern. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I am doing very well today. It was a fun All-Star week. The game itself, 3-2, but like the broadcast was very good. The fact they prioritized getting players mic'd up, talking to players. There were a lot of cool moments during the game, and I think it was one of the better All-Star games we've seen in recent history.
Yeah, I would agree for sure that, like, I think the goal of the All-Star game shouldn't be to put on a great game. It should be
that's a bonus.
That's a bonus. A bonus. Yeah. Like it should get the most interaction possible. And like, I mean, they we'll trash MLB sometimes for like not being with it, like, or not giving the fans what they want, but they did a phenomenal job. I would say for the All-Star game.
Yeah.
No,
they did a very good job. I mean, Alek Manoah having that whole conversation with John Smoltz on the mound while he struck out the side. Were you able to catch that? Yes. Yeah. I recorded it. So like, everything that I like missed, I went back and saw it, and like the idea of like, did he ask Smoltz like what he wanted to throw 0-2? He goes, what do you want 0-2? It was to McNeil to possibly end the inning. And he goes, backdoor slider. He goes, oh, you're sexy. And he had proceeded to hit McNeil in the foot. So that hit by pitch is charged to John Smoltz retroactively. Yeah. He just got one more tagged on to his 2009 season. Yeah. So I think also what was missed in that was I think someone else was talking and Manoah said front foot slider because he hit him in the front foot. I thought that was a funny moment, and like, yeah, it was funny. Like, All-Star game is a little more laid back, but like it was funny to see like kind of the mindset of a lot of these players. Jose Trevino, by the way, was great the whole time. Another great mic'd up player. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, this is the only time during the year you have the opportunity to do this. I guess you could in spring training, but absolutely no one cares and no one will watch. Yeah. And you need a viral clip for people to even know that it happened. But yeah, I'm glad that MLB is taking advantage of this, once in a year opportunity to have a little more fun with the players on the field, with the broadcast. There was that. There was also the Big Papi interviews in the AL dugout. He was just going around to people for talking to people for like a few seconds each. He goes up to Alek Manoah and he's like, I got to ask, how would you pitch me? He goes, I'd go with this, blah, blah, blah. Halfway through, he just cuts him off. He goes, man, I'd take you deep. Next. Yeah. Didn't even give him a chance to respond. Very funny. It was like, it was like man on the street, but man in the dugout almost. Yeah. The Papi and La Casa. That was what it was called. Yeah. I don't know if any audience members know, like, this show used to be on the air called Billy on the Street, where like, very aware of that. He would for $1 name a woman. Yeah. Like, like he would just go around New York City and rapid fire, and a lot of the times not give people a chance to respond. And that's basically what Big Papi did in the American League All-Star dugout. It was very funny. Yeah. Definitely the best. I think they MLB's like improving with the All-Star game interaction. And I mean, it all started with the rules being changed that it didn't affect the World Series at all. It really did. Yeah. Yeah, it all started with that, and they've been getting better every year since. Yeah, because I think 2017 was the first year, Because 2016, man, the Cubs won over 100 games. The Indians won like low 90s,
Yeah.
and the Indians had World Series home field advantage. The Cubs could have won Game 7 at home. That would have been one of the greatest. I mean, it already is one of the greatest moments in baseball history. But can you imagine if
Oh my
that game
God.
happened at Wrigley?
That
Like it would have, if it went the same way, Miguel Montero would have hit a walk-off single.
Yeah, right.
Because the 10th inning, the Indians did score a run. The Cubs scored two. I also, honestly, I would have felt horrible for Cleveland, though, because that would have been the second time they were 3 outs away and couldn't get it done in the last inning. So maybe it was a little bit for the better.
Right, yeah.
Like
And
Ben Zobrist would have tied the game.
Yeah, like it would have been, because also I remember when they won the pennant at Wrigley, and it was like,
oh my God,
it looked like they won the World Series. So I can't imagine if they won the World Series at Wrigley.
I think, honestly, now that I think about it, I think the game itself, it's better that it was in Cleveland, because like the Rajai Davis home run doesn't mean as much if it's in Wrigley. And like that was recognized as one of the best moments of the game and one of the best moments in recent history, even if they lost.
Yeah.
But if that was on the top of the eighth to tie the game, and it just silences Wrigley Field except for like a small part of it of that are Indians fans, because I don't think Indians fans would have traveled the same way that Cubs fans did. No offense to them, but
yeah,
like, it was
right.
It was just different. Like the Indians would not have had the 7th largest gathering in human history if they won for the parade.
Yeah. That's true. And also, like, Cleveland got their like championship rhythm earlier that year.
Yep.
When the Cavs won it. So like I think they would have been less enthusiastic if the Indians won it.
And that's not to say they wouldn't have been. Like this is not meant to be disrespectful to Cleveland. Like they do have a really good fan base. Yeah. But like comparing them to the Cubs in that time is apples to oranges.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So anyway, the All-Star game.
The All-Star game.
Yeah, I remember in 2017, I think it was before the game, like A-Rod was going around the diamond, like between innings and like interviewing like the infielders. That was really where it started.
Yeah.
That was the year that like Nelson Cruz took the picture with Joe West.
Yep. Or
yeah.
It was that year. It was that year.
It was in Miami.
Yeah, I remember specifically that year because I know Craig Kimbrell was the closer, and he like closed it out, and I was like, it doesn't really matter though.
Yeah.
Like game has no meaning. But anyway, even with that, American League, baby, they are on a hot streak.
Yeah, I mean it's so weird because it's not like the NL puts out bad teams or the AL is just simply a better league. Like I think NL won interleague by a lot last year too.
Right. Yeah, it's just an odd thing. And before this win streak, I know the NL won 3 in a row, but then before that the AL won like 13, 14 in a row. So the
next time the NL wins, you just got to retire it.
Yeah.
Like, the AL isn't winning.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very odd. Very, very odd.
The NL had to have won in 2001.
Yep.
The NL would have had to have won, and they have lost.
No, I think they made that rule to have the All-Star game determine home field advantage in like 02 or 03.
And in 02 they tied.
Yeah, well, 02 they tied, so that's why they made the rule.
I'm thinking about it now because because 2004 AL was home first, 2005 AL was home first, 2006 I'm pretty sure AL was home first, 2007 AL was home first, 2008 NL was home first, but yeah, that was when they won 3 or whatever it was.
No, Rays.
Or no, the Rays did start it. For some reason, I always think that series went 6 and not 5. The Rays did open it. 09. was AL first, and then 10, 11, 12 were the years that the NL won it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they had to have
Giants
been.
Giants started, Cardinals started, and Giants started again.
Yep.
And then the next time the Giants were in the World Series, it started in Kansas City.
It was very funny, hoping for a tie and then seeing Emmanuel Clase warming up in the bullpen, being like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah,
it ain't happening. It is very cool. Like I've noticed this in previous All-Star games where like the relievers will come in and like barely any runs are scored, and it really just goes to show you how good the dominant relievers are.
Yeah, that does tend to happen.
No runs were scored after the Byron Buxton home run, and that was what, like the third or fourth inning.
Yeah,
it was off Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah, off Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah, like think about all the relievers that came in on both sides: Joe Mantiply, Jorge Lopez, even like the mandatory Diamondbacks, Orioles, Pirates. They shut it down. Jorge Lopez had like the best 3 minutes ever.
Yeah, he threw what, 3 pitches?
He threw 3 pitches, got 2 outs, and they took him out to bring in someone else. A lot of people were mad that Edwin Diaz didn't get used, which I understand because he has been the best reliever in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, that is odd because the National League was home, right? They were the home team.
Yes.
So
yeah, I thought they were gonna take out David Bednar with 2 outs in the 9th and then put Diaz in, but they stuck with him.
Maybe it was a thing where like they were only going to use him if the National League was up, but
they did. I mean, he was warming up.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, very odd.
I'm sure he's not too worked up about it because like he's definitely pitched in All-Star games before.
Yeah, but the guy is,
and he is, and there's a reason to believe he'll be back. Like Joe Mantiply, David Bednar, you can't confirm that they'll be back, or at least you can't confidently say that they'll be back.
Right.
They definitely could, but Edwin Diaz is a much better chance.
Yeah. So
Plus next year it'll be in Seattle.
Yep, old home back at T-Mobile Park. Major League Baseball. Round of applause for Major League Baseball there.
There was only one horrifically bad thing that came out of All-Star Week. Did you see that Rob Manfred quote?
I remember there was a quote. I'm forgetting what the quote was.
Do you want me to just tell you?
Yeah.
So a reporter asked him if they don't pay minor leaguers because they can't afford to, or they just simply don't have interest in doing so. And he was like, I reject the premise that minor leaguers are not paid a living wage.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what relating to baseball he could have said worse.
There's not much, especially when you're talking about those
real
guys' livelihood.
Life. Yeah. That's not a situation of like, oh, I think the pace of play is fine and blah, blah, blah. Or I think we absolutely need to change the pace of play and make these games slower. Like that'll annoy some people, but it's just the game. This is real life.
Yeah. Cause like with the piece of metal comment, that's what I go back to think of when I think of Manfred. Like at least like everyone winning the World Series is doing well, and like everyone acknowledges that the team won the World Series. It was just like a tone deaf thing, but this is like this is regarding.
This is also very tone deaf, but also it's much more serious. I think this is the worst thing Rob Manfred's ever done or said. I think it blows everything else out of the water, like the negligence to suspending the Astros or the Red Sox, the piece of metal comments, just every little change he's made to the game. This is the worst thing he could have ever done or said.
Yeah, especially like is with someone being as powerful as him, like his thoughts on that issue means a lot. And I would agree. That's the worst.
Like not only are minor leaguers aren't even paid minimum wage. They're paid. There was a quote tweet from a minor leaguer that said, "I made $11,000 last year." Like that's insanely. That's below poverty level.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're making, if you're a regular fast food worker, you're making more than
You're making
a
way more.
Then yeah,
You're probably making double that at least.
Yes. Yeah, you're doing better than a minor leaguer. Yeah.
That was the one bad takeaway from All-Star Week, and yeah, what a horrific chain of events that was. There was someone made a fake tweet where it was like Rob Manfred on minor league pay. If you're not good enough, well, just why should we pay you? Like, get to the major leagues, and if you can't do that, find another line of work. And there were a bunch of people being like, did he really say that? Which goes to show, like, of course he didn't actually say that. That's like what boomers say when they disagree with the premise that minor leaguers get paid. It is very fun seeing players, like older players that played like 20, 30 years ago in the minor leagues being like, well, I made $14,000 a year and I was fine.
Right.
When, you know, the country's in a much different place now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, because rent was like $300 a month.
Right. Yeah. Like everyday items were much less.
Housing, food. Yeah. What an absolute disgrace that was.
Yeah. To make a baseball reference to that, it'd be like if a power hitter had 9 home runs this year, and they're like, well, this would lead the league in 1914.
I was thinking like someone in like the 50s or 60s or even like 70s, 80s being like, well, I faced the fastest pitchers of that day and I was fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah.
That's the same idea.
Yeah. That's how it is. That's how it is sometimes. Yeah. But yeah. All-Star Week was good. Home Run Derby was good. We talked about it last episode, and the All-Star game filled with good content. The obvious ones are Alek Manoah being mic'd up for his inning was great. Nestor Cortez and Jose Trevino being, calling pitches through the Fox microphones.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Julio Rodriguez, Liam Hendricks being mic'd up and like yelling at Julio to give him back the ball when he recorded that out.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Good redemption for Liam Hendricks after last year's microphone.
I forget, someone had a great hot mic moment. I don't remember who it was.
Man, I
think it was Cortez. It was Cortez. He threw a ball, yelled the F word, and like very softly you could hear like, sorry.
Yeah, that's baseball.
That was fun.
That's baseball.
That was the one fun thing of the 2020 season was there was every single day it was like Jock Peterson hot mic, Austin Riley hot mic.
Yeah.
Whatever. Every team had to have had at least one during the season.
Yeah, for sure.
Liam Hendricks with his league leading 14th of the year.
Yeah. Like
on only the 14th bad pitch he's thrown too.
Yeah. Like he throws one inning every few days, but he's still leading the league.
Yeah. He'll have 10 pitch innings with 3 strikeouts and 1 ball, and he'll get 1 hot mic in per appearance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, All-Star game, quality stuff there. It's not the game you're focused on. It's about what you learned along the way. No, it's not about that.
The friends we learned. The friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Like Alek Manoah, Jose Trevino, Nestor Cortez, Julio Rodriguez, Liam Hendricks, David Ortiz.
Yeah, that's
Stanton and Judge were mic'd up too.
Yeah. That was interesting. I will say
the Garrett Cole Max Fried conversation, that was dope.
Yeah, I will say I like Garrett Cole more than I did before that thing. Mm-hmm. He looked pretty into it.
Well, it's cool because like when you play in New York, the only time there's any mention of things that you say is when you say something cringe in a press conference, and Garrett Cole happens to do that a lot. So
Yeah.
they don't like. This is just a thing, but like, if you're a highly paid player in New York, they don't let you be a human. Like, think about all of the great personalities that people have liked on the Yankees. They're not people that they pay a lot of money to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like Nick Swisher,
Yeah.
like that was a dude that the Yankees just had that happened to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Just by accident.
Yeah, like Todd Frazier, he was past his prime. Uh,
Yep.
Even Aaron Judge, like he was developed themselves. He was paid $500,000 in a year where he had 52 home runs.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like all of the people that you like on the Yankees, not players, the people you like, they're not getting paid Garrett Cole money. Oh, they're also not getting paid Giancarlo Stanton money. They're not getting paid Jacoby Ellsbury money. They're not getting paid any big contracts. They're not making nine figures.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's just
Exactly.
part of how it goes. And Garrett Cole especially, yeah, they don't let him be human there. And that was when he got an opportunity to be human, and I'm happy that he had it.
Yes. Yes, for sure. He seemed pretty into it, and kind of you definitely, like, to use the word human again, you saw him more humanely than normal. Like, he was yeah,
Yeah.
he he just seemed much more relatable than he normally is.
Like the most human thing I've ever heard Garrett Cole say throughout his Yankees tenure was very recently when reporters asked him like to talk about how Rafael Devers just keeps hitting off him and like what he's done, and he was like, "I'm open to suggestions."
yeah.
Like that was the only human thing I've heard from him. Other than that, it's been like being upset at Billy Crystal or being upset about sticky stuff or whatever. All that stuff that happened over the years. That was the only relatable thing I've ever heard him say, or anything that made me think of him not just as a baseball player, based on the way that the media reports things out of New York.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
I do agree with you there.
Yeah, yeah, as you say, when you think of Garrett Cole, you think of the
Spider Tack incident, like all those
spider
press
tack,
conferences.
and like the press conferences after that, where it's like, where he was like, "Gee golly," or like what that
No,
that
for
one
Pete's
thing.
sake.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
um, like that
Yeah.
stuff, and yelling at Billy Crystal, as you mentioned. Um, so yeah, that's the All-Star game. We're gonna get into a little bit to the trade deadline. Um, uh, just kind of free flying, seeing what's going on. Should we start with like what? So there's some teams where they're going to be buyers. That some teams are going to be sellers. There's definitely some in-betweeners. Should we talk
Should we
about?
talk the in-betweeners?
Yeah, should we talk about the in-betweeners? Like, I feel like, you know, in about 2 weeks, it's definitely time to decide if you're buying or selling. Um, but there are some teams that are definitely in between right now. Um, where should we start? Should we start with
I'm
the
thinking
hometown team?
I was thinking, I mean, you can give me a approval on if this is an in-between team or not, but I'm thinking about the San Francisco Giants.
Right. Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah.
They could be in between. They could not be. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Um, yeah. I think with the Giants, I don't know. I think obviously it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this extra playoff team changes things a lot. It makes a lot more teams buyers. Um, but or yeah, where's San Francisco in this wild card race? I think they're
They're out of it, but I think the first team that's out of it.
first team out. So it goes in the National League. It goes Atlanta, San Diego, Philly, St. Louis tied with Philly. San Francisco is a half game out.
Yeah.
With San Fran, I think Um, I'm not hating on a buy for them. I think they've been underperforming. I think some of those issues that they've been having are like kind of solvable. Like a lot of it has been their defense. I don't mean to drone on it too much, but like that seems like, they could get somewhere close to where they were last year. I don't think they have a bunch of bad defenders on their team. And I think they are like there's a couple pieces offensively that they could add that could make things a little different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think this could be an in-between team, but I definitely see a likelihood of them buying.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. They have a lot of great like building blocks. Like they have two great starting pitchers in Logan Webb and Carlos Rodon.
Yes.
Two guys that are doing great this year. And even like Alex Wood, he should be performing a little bit better. He has a 3.10 FIP this season.
And there's Alex Cobb, we've mentioned him several times.
Yeah, he obviously can be doing better. So I don't even know if they need any more like starting pitching, but
their bullpen has been struggling, if I am correct.
Yeah, bullpen.
I know the bullpen did have some rough stretches.
Yeah, it doesn't seem the same as it was last year.
On the year, their bullpen. Wow, their bullpen is 18th in reliever FWAR. They have a 4.19 ERA and a 3.80 FIP. So they've had a drastic. That has to be the largest difference, by a long shot.
Yeah, most likely.
It is not. It is the fourth highest. The fourth highest. Colorado, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, who are all non-contenders, have a worse difference on the unlucky side.
Right. Offensively, I think there are, just adding someone at any position would be good. I mean, like Brandon Crawford's on the IL right now. I don't know what his timetable is.
He just went on the IL.
Yeah, he just and he was on the IL before, so I don't know.
He went back.
Yeah, I don't know if that is getting any better. So like, adding a potential middle infield piece. I'm not sure what in the middle infield is on the market, but adding something there, adding anything to the lineup would be good, as they haven't been.
Let me look at some middle infield pieces.
They haven't been the same. They have a 103 OPS plus this year, which is 3% above average. Yeah, I don't know. I'm somewhat optimistic on the Giants.
Yeah, there really aren't a ton of middle infielders out there.
Right. Like, I don't know. There really are never that many. It seems like there's never really that many middle infielders. Last year there was Javi Baez and like Adam Frazier.
Yeah, and I guess you could probably technically say Willie Adames as well, even though he was traded in May.
True.
I mean, if you wanted to go big, maybe Xander Bogaerts, but I highly doubt he's getting traded.
Yeah, me too.
If you wanted to go big, maybe Carlos Correa, but I also don't think he's getting traded.
Right.
Maybe I don't think Miguel Rojas would leave Miami, or I don't think they'd want to part with him.
True. So yeah,
Jose Iglesias.
Yeah, maybe
he's just eternally available.
He is. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe you could get Freddie Galvis back from. I think he's in Korea now.
Yep, true.
Those two are just always. They're just universal free agents.
They are.
They're universal 1 year, like $3 million deal, and they always like sign after every other person on the market.
Very true. So you mentioned the Twins, and even though they're leading the division right now, I still think they're like sort of a tweener, because
That's fair. The White Sox are only 3.5 games out now. Like they had a good run to finish out the half.
Yeah, the the Twins are 6 games above 500 currently.
They have had a lot of injuries, though. I will say that.
Who the
Twins? Joe Ryan was out for a little bit. Bailey Ober is out for a while. I'm talking mostly starting rotation at least, but like they've kind of had to improvise, around there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So maybe a move for them would be, one or two starting pitchers, like maybe not big scale, Luis Castillo, but someone on a smaller scale potentially.
Yeah, they also had poor Royce Lewis.
Yeah.
torn ACL. Chris Paddock had Tommy John. Yeah, he had a while ago, but yeah, like Bailey Ober has been on the 15-day IL for a while. He went on. He was on it before, but he went back on June 3rd. Kenta Maeda obviously had Tommy John a while back. Chris Paddock had Tommy John this year. They have, holy crap, the Twins have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people on the 60-day IL.
Right.
That is a lot.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I don't know. Like the whole trade market, I'm still like, last year was so clear what the trade market was.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys traded this year where we're like, that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, this year it doesn't make...
Maybe if the Twins sell, I don't think they would, but like maybe Miguel Sano gets put out there.
Yeah, I could see that
hypothetical
happening.
He has a club option next year, and if that is declined, he becomes a free agent. And it's for $14 million.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So who knows? What team needs a third baseman? No one that's good. The Orioles, except that ballpark is absolutely not built for Miguel Sano.
Yeah.
Like he will clear Mount Baltimore, but he will also single off that wall so many times because he hits it so darn hard and also isn't that fast.
Yeah, that's true. He's gonna have the most singles projected at 375 feet.
Yeah, that's true. The White Sox have bad third base production, but that's also because Yohan Moncada has been underperforming. Maybe the Phillies. That's a possibility. They've given up on Alec Bohm. I mean, I know that doesn't help their defense any more than, but you know what? Why not? Can't hurt the defense any more than it already has been hurt.
Yeah.
Like Alec Bohm isn't getting it done on defense. So you know what? At least get Alec Bohm with power.
Yeah. It's possible.
Why not?
It's possible.
Is he going to strike out more? Yeah. But is he going to hit? Is he going to hit for a better OPS? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So maybe that's a under the radar move. Miguel Sano to the Phillies.
Maybe we could see that.
That's if the Twins, because I know that the Twins could definitely go the rest of the season without him and compete.
Right.
Who have they had at third this year? Outside of him, of course. Gio Urshela. Oh yeah, they could absolutely survive without Sano.
Right.
Also Jose Miranda as well.
Right. Yeah. All right.
We've both been above average offensively according to weighted runs created plus.
So the Twins, we're not quite sure what the Twins are going to do. I feel like it would be hard not to buy if they're still leading the division when the trade deadline arrives.
Mm-hmm.
So another team where I'm looking at the rest of that division.
I think the White Sox should buy.
White Sox should buy.
I think there's a lot of teams where you could make a case that they should buy, but only for guys with control. Like the two teams I'm thinking about are the Marlins and the Orioles.
Yes. Yeah, Or like
I think, I mean, like the Marlins, in terms of upcoming free agents, Jesus Aguilar is on a mutual option for 2023. And then Anthony Bass has a club option. That's your only, and also Joey Wendell is on a mutual option. Those are your only upcoming free agents.
Right.
If you're Miami. So you have a lot of guys with control. In terms of pre-arb players, you have Trevor Rogers, Jazz Chisholm, Brian De La Cruz, Jesus Luzardo. You have so much control over a lot of your good players. And you already extended Sandy Alcantara on a very team-friendly deal. So you don't have to worry about that. I think the biggest problem right now with Miami is the contract of Avisal Garcia, because that has not worked out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But at least they did spend a little bit of money, even if it wasn't
I agree.
in the right place. Yeah, that would be interesting if the Marlins or Orioles were able to retool a little bit and get someone with at least 2 years left of control. That would be interesting. But again, I'm not sure who these players are going to be.
No, but I also don't think it's going to be someone who's really good right now.
True. That's true.
I don't think, off the top of my head, Frankie Montas, I don't think he's a free agent at the end of this year. But I don't think someone of his caliber is going to Miami.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see them investing in a Ramon Laureano if we're talking about the same team, though.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
That could be a fit. Big outfield over there. He's an excellent defensive player he kind of fits the mold with the Marlins. Very good defensively, good overall player. Could be better on offense.
Yes, for sure.
Maybe you don't want more of what you have. I think it's guys like that. That's who I'm thinking of when I think of potential trade targets for the Orioles Marlins. Orioles pitching is kind of set. That Wall move was probably the best thing the organization has done in years.
Yeah.
Looking over the year-to-year changes between some of these Orioles pitchers is the funniest thing.
Yeah, it is.
It looks like magic what they did with some of these guys, like Spencer Watkins. For example, had an 8.07 ERA last year. This is very funny. So he had an 8.07 ERA last year, and he has a 3.93 ERA this year in roughly the same amount of innings pitched, is just 2 less than last year. His strikeouts per 9 is down by half a strikeout, not a lot. His walks per 9 is up by 0.3, not a lot. His home runs per 9 went from 2.3 to 0.9.
Right.
So that's one of the guys that they've just completely fixed. Keegan Aiken is another big one. He had a 6.63 ERA last year, a 2.36 ERA this year. The FIP is 4.14, so it's nearly 2 runs higher, but he's giving up much less hits per 9, and he's also giving up actually less home runs per 9, but still at roughly the same rate. But the walks per 9 are down very big. They're down by 1.6.
Right.
So, and then we've mentioned Jorge Lopez before. His ERA was, what was it last year? 6.07. And he's had improvements all around. You can't even really just point to Camden in the Wall there. But another one is Dean Creamer. This is another great one. He had a 7.55 ERA last year, and he has a 2.59 ERA this year with a 3.59 FIP. His strikeouts per 9 are down by 1 strikeout. His walks per 9 are down by, looks like 1.6 from 4.2 to 2.6. Home runs per 9 is down from 2.9 to 0.6.
But yeah.
Obviously you can't expect a guy to have 2.9 home runs per 9 consistently. That's just a lot, but to go from 2.9 to 0.6 takes some special Wall moving back 20 feet and up a little bit.
Yeah, that I think it was a Mike Petriello article.
Yep.
That Mike Petriello article from last year where he talked about I think he determined that the pitchers were affected much more than the Baltimore hitters were there were much more negatives for the Baltimore pitchers than there were positives for the Baltimore hitters in regards to the Wall. So and like it looks very good right now. Like Baltimore's offense, like there are some guys like Trey Mancini and
Ryan
Ryan Mountcastle who are getting like a little screwed right now, but the
But even
entire
then,
pitching
like
staff
they're
is the entire pitching staff is doing much better than they would have.
right. Ryan Mountcastle's OPS is only 16 points lower than it was at this point last year.
Yeah, I think
His home
it's more.
His home run rate is definitely lower. Like, well, I mean, let me see. His home run rate last year was 5.6%. Now it's 4.2%, which still isn't bad. I mean, it's down, no doubt, but 4.2 is pretty good still.
Yeah, that should go into the batting, the home runs versus expected home runs that Baseball Savant does based on
Trey
Mancini,
like Trey Mancini has been getting screwed.
Yeah,
I will say that. That poor guy. He does have a higher OPS plus than last year and a higher OPS than last year, actually. But that also is probably because he has a much better OBP. His walk rate has gone up. His walk rate hasn't gone up, but his batting average has gone up. His BABIP has gone up by almost 30 points. So I guess that'll do it.
But yeah, Trey Mancini has 9 home runs, and based on like average ballparks, he's supposed to have 16.1. So he's supposed to have 7 more home runs than he actually has.
Almost double.
Yeah, almost double. But yeah, he's the only extreme one, I would say. Like Mountcastle should have 1.8 more.
I mean, when you think of the big Orioles bats, a lot of them are lefty. Like obviously Adley Rutschman, Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander. Those are all lefties.
Yeah. So that's fair. That's fair.
How wild is it that we don't really think the Orioles are selling at the deadline? Not because they don't have anything to sell, but because, I mean, why not? Well, why not? Like, don't go all out. Like, keep in mind that you have a lot of big guys in the future.
Right.
But yeah, like, don't trade for anyone that you need to part ways with big prospect for.
Exactly. Like, and all of the guys that are making the Orioles much better than they were last year are all under control for a little bit.
Yes.
I remember, when I did the Jorge Lopez, how about that? I was like, oh, he's a potential trade target. He's got like 2 more years of control left, but it's like, no, Orioles should probably keep him around.
No, actually, the Orioles are. I remember I felt that way with Sean Doolittle in 2019. Like the Nationals were, they were 19-31. And like I didn't realize how much better they were getting. And in like early July, I was like, I wanted the Red Sox to get Sean Doolittle. Then as the month went by, I was like, oh, the Nationals are definitely not going to give him up. They're good. And they won the World Series. So.
Yeah. Yep. That's how it is sometimes.
I'll never forget when I found out 2 hours before it was broken that Jorge Lopez got traded.
Wait,
it was the Mike Moustakas deal. He was in that.
Oh,
remember, like it was yesterday. I was driving to Delaware. I wasn't driving. I was in the car, but a buddy of mine who was a Brewers fan texted me saying, "We just got Moustakas. We're giving up Jorge Lopez and Brett Phillips, who are 2 names now, which is pretty cool. Both of them have been to the All-Star game. One of them in it. One of them was kind of just there, but Brett Phillips has had his moments. He's a name.
Yeah, remember the 2020 World Series Game 4?
Oh, how could you forget? That was such a sick game.
What a fun one. That was a really good one.
Yeah.
Included one of our favorite home runs.
Yes, it did.
I didn't know Jorge Lopez has been with a lot of organizations. I'm now realizing.
Yeah, he has. Because he almost threw a perfect game with the Royals once.
Yeah, that makes sense. Milwaukee.
I'm pretty sure he got to the 9th inning with a perfect game. I'm looking up. It was either 2018 or 19.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is the guy they got Moustakas for. I remember that.
Yeah. And now he's an elite reliever.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, nothing will ever be better than Billy McKinney, though. I don't even know if he's relative at all to this conversation, but I always love that. I mean, he's played 263 career MLB games, but he's been with, I think, 9 organizations.
Yeah.
It's my
Okay,
favorite.
so Jorge Lopez got to the 9th inning with a perfect game against the Minnesota Twins. Then he walked the leadoff batter and gave up a single. So he got taken out, and then a run scored on a sac fly, and then Willie Peralta got the final outs eventually. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was probably like, I saw it on Twitter and put it on MLB TV, and then saw the hit and was like, all right. And then I just forgot about it.
Yep.
So
can you imagine if he threw a perfect game? And that's the only one in the last decade.
Oh my God. Yeah. Just wouldn't make sense. But it is funny because like Felix Hernandez was the last perfect game, but if he wasn't the last perfect game, it would have been Philip Humber.
Or was Matt Cain's before or after?
I feel like Matt Cain's perfect game might have been like 2011.
I'm pretty sure it was 12. Maybe it was. I could be wrong. Hang
on. I feel like there weren't 3 in 1 year, but I could be wrong.
June 13th, 2012 was Matt Cain's.
Okay, so it would have been Matt Cain. Never mind then. He was pretty good.
Either way, Philip Humber threw a perfect game. Yeah, that was April 21st, 2012. Yeah, there was one every 2 months. Yeah, Philip Humber threw a perfect game.
Yeah, he had more perfect games than wins above replacement. He had 0.9. He had 0.9 wins above replacement. That's insane.
Dude, his perfect games per win. So above 1.
Yeah.
He's the only pitcher in baseball history.
Like, he has one.
Randy Johnson's his 1 win per perfect, or what? Randy Johnson's is 1 perfect game per like 100 wins. It's kind of pathetic.
Yeah, true. Not
like, 1 perfect game, less than 1 win.
He has 1 career complete game.
Yeah.
1 career complete game, one career shutout.
How many wins above replacement did Dallas Braden have?
Like 5-ish, I think.
Yeah. Because every other perfect game I can think of was like someone who made a little bit of sense other than those 2.
Dallas Braden had 5.0 wins above B-WAR. 5.0 B-WAR. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Dallas Braden was at Amos Alonzo Stagg High School in Stockton, California.
Yes, he was.
Wait.
So I remember on Starting Night a bunch of years ago, Jared lost a bet and he had to do like a book report on Stockton, California. And he mentioned like Amos Alonzo Stagg. And I was like, wait a minute, I know that guy.
Yeah. It's associated with Springfield College.
Yeah.
Check us out on Stagg Field. If you
September 2nd, first football game of the year against crosstown rival Western New England.
Yeah, check it out.
How many other teams do you want to talk about?
Red Sox. I think we should just talk about the Red Sox and then we'll end there.
We'll call it a day. They have some very interesting questions to answer. They have a tough schedule coming up too. They have the Blue Jays coming out of the break. They also have the Brewers, the Guardians, and the Astros in some type of order.
Yeah. The Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox, they have had a bit of a roller coaster season. They started 11-20. Then they ripped through the months that like last half of May and June. They went 20-6 in June, but they had not a very hard schedule. I'll say that. They ripped through the AL West minus Houston, although the only series they've had
they did They won a series against Houston, though.
Yeah, they did win a series against Houston back in May.
Yeah.
But like they caught Seattle when they weren't, the hot team when they were bad Seattle. And now they've been struggling recently. If I do the math here, if I get the data, they were 42-31, and now they're 6-14 in their last 20, and that's correlated with their rise in competition. It's questionable of whether they'll be a playoff team or not, for sure. Definitely, status is questionable. They have
a lot of free agents coming up.
A lot of free agents. This is almost like a repeat of 2019. JD Martinez is a free agent coming up. No opt-outs, by the way. Like, he's the actual contract.
This is the 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the 5 years. Xander Bogaerts has an opt-out coming up in 2022. Pretty much a guarantee that he will either opt out or try to restructure this contract at the end of the season, because he's worth more than the $20 million a year he's getting. Also, Nathan Eovaldi his contract is coming to a close after this year. Who am I missing? And then Rafael Devers,
Vasquez, Michael Wacha, Rich Hill, Matt Strom.
And then Rafael Devers is a free agent after 2023. He's, the extension talks on him have been uninspiring.
Concerning
from this ownership group. Now, I'm starting to get upset now with the incompetence going on there. But anyway, some questions to be answered.
Did you see that report that they're using Matt Olson's deal as like the basis of their negotiations?
Yeah, that's so stupid.
It's very, because they were like, well, because we think you're gonna move over to first.
Yeah.
No.
Like, it's pretty offensive what the Red Sox are up to. Like, I almost understood the Betts thing a little more, because they had just won a World Series, and
they had just won a World Series, and they also offered $300 million. And he got $325, and there was a report that came out that he said he would have taken the Dodgers offer if the Red Sox gave it to him. And that's whatever, but they did try. $300 million is trying. Could they have done more? Yes, but they at least did put in the effort to re-sign him, and it just didn't work out. If you're starting at $168 million with Devers, you're not trying.
Yes, for sure. Especially Devers.
He's 25 right now, and he is probably a top 5 hitter in the league.
Yes. Yeah. Rafael Devers is, yeah, exactly. He's 25. That's where it starts, is he's getting at least 10 years. At least. That's the minimum. He's a full-on MVP candidate this year, probably top 3 in the running right now. His defense
has a real chance if Shohei Ohtani doesn't exist.
Yes. His defense has improved substantially this year. And he's already, he's proven to be one of the best hitters, since 2019. I should look at his stats since 2019.
And he's just kept getting better every year. And there's been so many comps. Adrian Beltre came out and said that guy's going to be better than me. Adrian Beltre is a top 5 third baseman of all time. David Ortiz came out and said Devers reminds him the most of himself out of anyone he's seen on the Red Sox since he retired. That's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Rafael Devers is going to be a Hall of Famer. And you should pay him like someone who's going to be a Hall of Famer who is just hitting his prime.
Yeah. I mean, he since 2019, which was when he was 22 years old, since his age 22 season.
That's how old I am.
Yeah. Since his age 22 season, he has a 904 OPS, 135 OPS plus. Per 162 games, 48 doubles and 37 home runs per 162 games. And, looking at Baseball Savant, he hits the ball harder than 97% of the league or so. He hits the ball extremely hard. He hits, his quality of contact has always been fantastic. His strikeout rate this year is getting better.
The only thing you could ask of him is more walks.
Yeah.
And it's not uncommon for a guy at his age to be a free swinger. And listen, even when he's being a free swinger, he's not striking out and he's hitting the ball hard, like you just mentioned. Like it's almost okay if he's swinging more, because when he swings, good things happen more often than they don't.
Yeah, there's a Baseball Savant, or there was an article on the front page of Baseball Savant like a few weeks ago where it was like, you can't pitch around Rafael Devers, like against the 4 most used pitches in baseball, he was hitting above 300 against like all of them.
Yeah.
And he hits, like, when the ball's out of the zone, he slugs pretty well too. You can't pitch around the guy. We've seen there's a home run he had in Seattle where the pitch was like 8 inches off the plate and he hit a home run. Like you can't find that in a lot of places. And the Red Sox are being extremely uninspiring with their extension talks with him. And
same goes for Xander Bogaerts too, because he even said, like Xander said, I'm open to negotiating during the season. Most players aren't open to that. Most players are like, it's opening day or I'm hitting the free agent market. Like that's what Aaron Judge did. That's what Bryce Harper did when he was with the Nationals. Like it's either we're doing it now or get ready to try me on the open market. Bogaerts is willing to talk right now. There's been nothing.
Yeah.
Crickets. That's even more uninspiring.
Yeah, that's very uninspiring because like he's taking those talks. I think he definitely wants to be in Boston for the rest of his career. And I'm less enthusiastic about him, although like, I think the ownership group could afford, like it's Fenway Sports Group, they could afford signing both Devers and Bogaerts. But if I had to choose one, I'd choose Devers. However, like, Bogaerts is a great player as well. He's still sort of young. I mean, he's still on technically the correct side of 30.
Yeah.
And his defense has gotten better. I think he's more valuable. He's potentially more valuable than he was last year. And he was pretty good. He was pretty good.
Here's the thing. Like, I think you can pay Xander without giving him like the Corey Seager contract or the Marcus Semien contract. But like the guy's a top 5 shortstop and you should pay him like a top 5 shortstop. I'd say like 200 to 225 mil. That's less than what the other guys got that I just mentioned. I think that gets it done.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I don't think he's specifically saying I want more than these guys. Like I think he's willing to stay in Boston for the right price, and it doesn't have to be a specific I want to be above this guy type of mentality.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because they offered him like around what they gave Story.
Right. Yeah. Like it's and the whole, having Trevor Story there, that throws a whole wrench in the mix too, because that's the other thing that makes me less enthusiastic about getting Bogaerts back. Although, yeah, it would be fantastic to have Devers, Bogaerts, and Story in the infield long term. That'd be the ideal situation. But if you had to choose, Bogaerts, I'd be more okay letting Bogaerts go. As a Red Sox fan, than letting Devers go. However, I guess in terms of the trade market, going back to the main point of this, with the trade market with the Red Sox, like it's weird. It's hard to ask them to be buyers and potentially give up good prospects, and they've developed a pretty good farm system.
They have they have Marcelo Meyer in there. They have like Nick York in there, Tristan Casas, ARR alumni in there.
Yeah.
I don't think they have to part ways. But even then, like they got Kyle Schwarber straight up for Aldo Ramirez, the 9 prospect, who is unfortunately currently out for the season with an injury. But you can go in without having to say goodbye to good prospects. Like You could probably get Josh Bell for maybe a little bit of a steeper price, but still a similar-ish price.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe it takes 2 prospects that are fringe top 10 in the organization.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah. And then, so.
Because they need an upgrade at first base. No doubt.
Absolutely. And if it's, and, Bell would be perfect because he's a rental and,
gets on base a lot. He plays a similar role to Schwarber did last year.
Yeah. And, Casas should get that position next year, 2023. He should probably be the everyday first baseman. Mm-hmm. But Bell this year would be a good option. And what I will say for the Red Sox is, unless you're trying to get Soto, the Meyer, Casas, Bayo, and who else? York I might consider a potential trade target, but
he's top 100.
Meyer, but yeah, Meyer, Bayo, Casas are definitely untouchable. York, you said he's top 100.
Yeah, he's like 40s.
Oh, he's 40s. Okay, York's also untouchable then.
Yes, but I know Jim Bowden threw this out. What if you put Bobby Dahlbeck in a trade package for Josh Bell?
Yeah, absolutely. There are some guys.
I don't think I'm saying no to that. Obviously, it's going to take more than that because he hasn't exactly proven himself at the big league level for a long period of time yet. So the Nationals are going to want more than him, but that's a major league ready player, and the Nationals would probably accept that and others. That could be a good starting piece. It gives much more room for Casas next year at first base, and it puts Bell at the position for the rest of the season.
Yeah, there's some major league talent with the Red Sox where I'd be willing to give those guys up. Dahlbeck's one of them, and the other guy would be like Jeter Downs. I'd be okay with the Red Sox letting go for, but even a bigger piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Red Sox could be looking at Bell because they definitely need first base help, no doubt about it. And unless Dahlbeck has the same September he had last
counting
year,
on that.
But you can't bank on that. Yeah.
If he does that, I would just trade him during the offseason. His value is never going to be higher.
Yes, that's very true.
I think the notion of if the Red Sox are going to be buyers or sellers comes down to how they play in the next 2 weeks. I don't think you can make a conclusion right now.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned their upcoming schedule, where
in no particular order they're facing the Blue Jays, Guardians, Brewers, and Astros, all winning teams.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where a lot of this decision making is going to go. And also what you've mentioned earlier is you could see the Red Sox kind of buying and selling at the same time. Mm-hmm. Especially Chaim Bloom is that type of general manager where that could happen. So yeah, you could see, I don't see any, I don't see Bogarts going, but you could see someone go where oh, they're letting that guy go, and then but taking a guy back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of question marks with the Red Sox. First base, they would definitely need improvement. Bullpen, no doubt. That's always been an issue for them. And starting pitching, especially with Sale out, you might need a guy, but the starting pitching market is not what it was last year.
No, it's not.
There's 2 major guys, and I don't really know who else.
Yeah, I don't think they're going for Castillo or Montas.
Yeah, me neither. You
want to get into matchups?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right.
So yeah, no how about that's are slightly alarming today because there were no actual games that counted in since we last recorded. Giancarlo Stanton in his last few days has a home run and 2 RBI. His win probability added is pretty great. No. So there are some games going on right now as we record. But yeah, it looks like, are the Yankees Astros playing a series? No, they're just playing today.
They're just playing a doubleheader. So the Yankees are facing the Orioles.
They are playing the Orioles. Couple of potential playoff teams there. Yeah, with series to watch, most of them start tomorrow, and there are some pretty good series. I will say Red Sox, Blue Jays at Fenway. I'm going to be at a couple of those games. That's,
Sure.
Crucial to see where the Red Sox direction will be. In the last series, the Red Sox played against the Blue Jays. They lost 2 out of 3 in Toronto. So we'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. I know they have Eovaldi back, so that helps out the rotation a little bit. They're not
out of Sale.
Yeah, they had Sale and then they lost him, but they're not in complete dire straits because Eovaldi, who was their best pitcher last year, he's back. Then staying in the East Coast, you have Mets Padres. That is going to be a quality matchup to two teams that are probably going to be in the playoffs. Then in the West Coast, Mariners Astros. That's probably the series of the weekend, in my opinion, because the Mariners are so hot right now. They've won 14 in a row, and then the Astros have been consistently dominant. They have the third best record in baseball. So that's interesting, and I think it's a real test for the Mariners as well to see where they're truly at and see what happens there. That's probably the series of the weekend, and then the other series to watch is Dodgers Giants. That's at Dodger Stadium. Giants are another in between team where like a series like this might determine where they're at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
What do you have for day by day matchups?
So I'll just talk over Thursdays, even though they've probably already happened by this point. There are only 6 games being played today. Jordan Montgomery versus Christian Javier in the first end of the Yankees-Astros doubleheader. Montgomery pitched very well FIP-wise, but it is 2-1 Astros in the end of the 7th currently. Domingo Germán versus Luis Garcia in game 2 of that doubleheader. Tarek Skubal versus Zach Logue in Tigers A's. Garrett Hill versus Frankie Montas. In the second end of that doubleheader, Carlos Rodon versus Mitch White in Dodgers Giants. Matchup of the day came from, in past tense, Rangers Marlins, John Gray versus Pablo Lopez. It's a dope matchup. Nice. Gray's been doing pretty well lately. It was very cool to see. On Friday, yes, today's Thursday, right? Yeah. Yes. On Friday, you have Jamison Taillon and Tyler Wells, 2 good strikeout to walk pitchers facing each other in Yankees Orioles. Yu Darvish will be facing the Mets for the Padres. A lot of teams have not announced their starters.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani will be facing the Braves for the Angels at Truist Park. It is hard to find good matchups. Logan Webb will be facing the Giants facing the Dodgers for the Giants. I guess matchup of the day comes from Rockies, Brewers, Antonio Senzatella versus Corbin Burns.
The only one.
Don't feel great about announced. That. I feel like we need to just skip matchup of the day for this one, or just in general, unless there is something.
Yeah.
But I'm still looking. That's really everything that's been announced is notable for Saturday. Or for Friday. On Saturday, that's a decent matchup. That's also a decent matchup. Okay, I'll just go over what has been announced, even though it's not much that's notable at least. Alex Wood will be facing the Dodgers for the Giants. Brandon Woodruff will be facing the Rockies for the Brewers at at American Family Field. Blake Snell will be facing the Padres for the Mets, or facing the Mets for the Padres at Citi Field. Garrett Cole and Jordan Lyles will be facing each other. Max Mayer will be facing the Pirates for the Marlins. And matchup of the day comes from Cubs Phillies. It is Marcus Stroman versus Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, that's cool.
Zach Wheeler, I know Zach Wheeler is not an all-star, but I think it's still a decent matchup.
Yeah.
And Sunday, there's probably even less. Sunday is the Hall of Fame induction. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Chris and I will be in Martha's Vineyard for the New England Collegiate Baseball League All-Star Game.
Yes.
Gonna be a good time. Gonna get some sun, watch some home run derby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Talk to some people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing. I know you have an interview lined up.
I have one interview lined up, but other than that, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of part of the fun is, hey, we're going to see where this all goes.
Yep.
On Sunday, Sandy Alcantara is facing the Pirates at PNC Park. Tyler Mahle will be facing the Cardinals for the Reds. I wonder if he's on the trade market. I've heard nothing about him.
He should be on the trade market.
Yeah, I would go for him as like a sneaky move. A couple of all-stars facing each other in Martin Perez versus Paul Blackburn and Rangers A's. Alex Cobb will be facing the Dodgers for the Giants. Joe Musgrove will be facing the Mets on Sunday Night Baseball. And as we all expected at the beginning of the season, we knew that anytime this one came up, it's matchup of the day. You got Nestor Cortez versus Dean Kremer, and it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, you're thinking like this is like when like Juan Marichal and Sandy Koufax would go at it. You just knew every year.
It's a divisional rivalry.
Yeah. This is where it ends. Also, by the way, quick little thing on Tyler Mahle, 4.48 ERA, but 3.24 expected ERA. So I think he's just kind of getting screwed over by that Reds defense.
He's getting GABP'd.
Yes.
Actually, I think his home road splits aren't as egregious as they were last year. Because he had the second lowest road ERA last year behind Corbin Burns. People don't want to talk about that, but he absolutely did. There's no denying it either.
Yeah.
Why isn't anyone talking about him? I know that Castillo is the better pitcher. You know what? He does have a 4.99 ERA at home and a 3.83 ERA on the road, and also a strikeout to walk share that's almost two better. It's 2.28 at home, 4.09 on the road.
Weird.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sure. Interesting. He's given up 10 home runs, 8.4 expected home runs.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, makes sense. All right.
He's given up. Hang on. Given up 7 home runs at home, 3 on the road. He has pitched significantly more innings though, 52.1 to 40. So 12 1 to third more innings, but still 4 home runs more. That's definitely a higher home runs per 9.
Yeah. Is that are those all
that's all?
All right. Well, that does it for this installment of Above Replacement Radio. We hope you enjoyed this one. If you're following or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and want to watch the conversation as it happens, go to our YouTube channel. It is called Above Replacement Radio, and subscribe to that. Also, if you're following on social media, follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_Curran, and follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio for all the show needs. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you on next Tuesday, where we're talking all the happenings in Major League Baseball once again. See you then.
This conversation is over.